Hello, House Heroes and Wham Fam, and welcome to Tuesday Night Live. We're here, we're the House Heroes. My name is Troy, and this is
Ryan.
We're here to educate and all things with real estate. We're live every Tuesday at night. Go over a topic, news. We have a couple new segments. We have the REO Minute. Right? We tell you how many REOs are out there right now. They're going up, down. What exactly is happening? Show that the market gets hot. How hot is it really? I know it's hot, but how hot is it really? Hey Ryan, how you doing today?
Doing all right, but it is definitely hot out there. Temperature and market temperature. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Reed, our coach. Just became a dad the other day, so congrats to fatherhood. Excited for you and Kristen. Yeah. So congrats on that. As you guys know, we're interactive. So if you have any questions as we're going along, please shoot them out to us. It doesn't even have to be on the topic we're talking about. Preferably it stays on real estate, but yeah, we're here, we're interactive. Shoot us any questions you have regarding to real estate. As you know, we go live Tuesday, 9 p.m. here on Facebook. We also then will have this on YouTube for you. We'll be on Instagram day in, day out doing real estate tips of the day and showing you houses, some of the crazy stuff we see out there, some of the good stuff we see, and letting you know what's going on as we see it in the trenches, fighting that real estate war with our clients, trying to get those multiple offers accepted. So got that on Instagram, and then obviously TikTok, because we just got to be on TikTok apparently, and then Pinterest and the rest.
Social media team
yes,
to be on TikTok.
Yes.
Ben actually said it about a year ago. I haven't heard him say it since. Right? But our social media team says, hey, we be on TikTok. I personally might be a little old for TikTok.
Yeah, your TikTok is about to run out.
My ticker. So, hey guys, say hi to us. Hey, we want to do some shout outs. Hey, Adam, thank you for coming in. Ben, I know you're out there around in the world and going live. I know it was his birthday yesterday.
Yeah, happy belated birthday on that as well.
Celebrated that yesterday. Yeah, I want to say a couple of shout outs to RJ. Thank you very much for tuning on. And shout outs. Go ahead.
Yeah, RJ, if it's RJ I'm thinking of, RJ is going to be in here tomorrow at 10 a.m. We got a conference call with a bankruptcy court to see if we can get him his property at the bankruptcy. Essentially, it's an auction at this point. So we're the lead bidder right now, and we just got to defend our title as champs. So we're going to be on the conference call since the actual courthouses are closed. So
that sounds like a challenge, right?
It is, man. I'm going to be wearing my WWF belt. Like, bring on all the challengers.
Oh, yeah. So tonight's topic is 5 things you need to know after closing. There's a lot of different things. What happens when you close? Immediately. Then as it goes down the road, a few mortgage tips. How to get rid of mortgage insurance. We want to get rid of that. Nobody wants to. Of mortgages, there's around 80% have mortgage insurance. We'll just gonna give it away. None of us, Ryan, want.
Nope. Nobody wants PMI. Get rid of acronyms altogether.
Yeah.
Yep. If it's an acronym, I don't want it.
RJ came back and said, no. It's
Oh, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's a Wednesday. You're right. Well, hey, I'm ready. That's
Thank
fantastic.
You, RJ, for clarifying.
Wait, you mean you did, like he's like God? He just gave me an extra day in my week, and believe me, I need that extra day in my week. Yes, tomorrow I've got inspections all day long. So I want to do a couple shout outs as well. Don from Seattle, who we met at the C21 convention. So thanks for joining in. Don, I know he's getting ready to, get OBS kind of rolling and start doing some of his videos and stuff. So good to see you here. And then Patrick Murphy as well. So thanks for joining us here. Let us know if you guys have any questions as we roll.
I got a couple comments here, Ryan.
What? Again? Really?
Yeah. So,
all right.
Need you on that, Ryan.
It's hello.
Sean, all over you, man. Come on, bro.
It's weird. It says it's all legit on the little mic thing, so I'll crank it up here a little more. Hopefully this is better. Let us know if it keeps happening, though, for sure.
Yes.
So,
So in the news, Ryan, what do we got for it in the news?
We've got
The forecast.
boom. So, we keep hearing, it was actually kind of funny because last Friday when we did our weekly market update, I wanted to talk a little bit about CoreLogic had come out and said in the next 12 months, they see that prices could drop up to 6.6%, which I don't see, being here in the trenches with limited housing. But of course, and we didn't end up going with it. We hadn't really heard much about it in the market other than me reading about it. And here we are a week later or 4 days later, and we're starting to see it pop up and people quote it. But, it's interesting because it's just one of the economists that are out there talking about where they see the market going. And so here's a good chart of showing where, I'd say, top, 9, economists that are out there that follow the market and provide their forecast. This is where we're at. And you got to remember, these are nationwide. So we're in a pocket where we have not really felt any sort of, backlash or, ripple effects of COVID on a wide scale. In the middle of it, what was happening were there were still multiple offers. So right in the middle of it, when people were worried and panicked, we still had multiple offers on everything I was putting offers in on. Now, we had a little more leeway when we got into escrow. We could maybe ask for a little bit more on our repairs, and because sellers didn't want us to fall out because they were a little worried too. But the second that was over, it just was right through the roof again. And we have so much pent up demand, and there's just no sign of inventory hitting the shelves. So I don't see anything changing. Do I think it's going to be, continuing on this trajectory towards the moon? No, I think it's going to slow down. But for this 6.6 over here, you got to remember we have the MBA, Mortgage Bankers Association, saying 4% is their expectation for 12 months. So please bookmark this, save this to Facebook. And I want you guys to look back 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, and let's see where we're at. I really don't think we're going to be either of these polls. I think we're going to be somewhere in the middle here. But I know from what I've seen this month alone, everything I've sold is at least 4% over what the sales price was last month alone. So I get that this is 12 months from now. It might go up, it might taper down, might slow down, but I don't see it dropping 6.6% for home prices. That is a huge drop. And I don't know anybody panic selling. We actually have some charts that we're going to be rolling out on Friday, and it's just talking, and showing what people are selling for, panic selling, the affordability. So if you guys are interested in any of this, definitely check out our Friday drop. But yeah. Your microphone's crackling.
Here's kind of my take.
Yeah, yours is.
Wide range of people. That's getting out of all I'm hearing. Something that but when cozy out, I personally there's no voice on Troy.
Yeah, there's literally none at all. So let's I'm gonna just turn off that mic and throw you on to.
Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead and continue.
How about now? Can you guys hear me at all? We're just picking it up from the camera, maybe.
Yeah. So if you guys can hear me, go ahead and just reply.
Yeah, Troy can just relay what he's talking about to me.
Can't hear Troy, so Ryan, go ahead and get the next slide for you.
All right, here we go. So mortgage applications jump to purchase a newly built home, 55%. So this is one of my favorites. Diana Olick, back in February, March, said that she thought the market was going to crash. Don't be buying homes. Real estate market, is falling. Bottom's falling out. Oh my gosh. And of course that didn't happen. And here she is. Oh my gosh. Hashtag mortgage applications to purchase a newly built home. Down 54% annually in June at MBA Mortgage. And so it's crazy to me that she was so far off. And so here we are. New home sales up 54 to 55% annually. I know Troy's talked about it multiple times. We're out there, we're going to new builders, and they are sold out. I went to a closeout the other day, and they said, "Hey, you know what? You're going to be our last sale, and that's it. We're closing out this build." So, and they sold out way faster than they expected the whole complex to sell out. So we're seeing it out there. There's just there's nothing alleviating the shortage of housing. So. Troy, let's try it one more time. Are you able to hear Troy out there?
They say that I can't hear Troy. It's crackling.
All right, come over here. Tell us about Orange County, Troy.
I'm going to switch seats. Nice.
I don't know what's up with this thing.
Musical chairs, and I'm lower. Hey, so what we have in this segment is a county spotlight. We want to kind of go over the different counties that are out there. This week we want to do Orange County, and one of the reasons why we want to do Orange County is we're going to show you as we look back at the 4-week trailing what's happening here. As we're seeing, it's pretty consistent about the actives going through the month of June here. From June 4th to July 5th, we're right in the 500 low fours. On active properties, but look at the pendings, and this is the telltale sign of what's going to happen. So pendings is what is happening in the future, what's going to close. So we're all consistently right around the 700s, and especially last week we were right at 700. But what's happened is the solds. The solds now are exceeding actives, and pendings are soaring. So what that's really telling us is that we're just not going to see the inventory out there that we had hoped, and it's going to be pushing prices up. We're absolutely seeing it in Orange County and in several different counties now, especially in LA County as well, that we're seeing the higher end $1 million mark is starting to catch fire. It's the 1.3s that the jumbos that are still not really taking off, but we're seeing everything else kind of selling through. And it's really interesting how this is all playing out. When people say that the market's not hot, we have unemployment issues, we have the core body saying that we're having a market crash. We're just not seeing it when you look at raw numbers. Next week I'll have LA County. We'll show LA County numbers, but they're pretty much the same as going through here. So, and then the next segment is going to be weekly foreclosure activity. Everybody wants to buy a foreclosure, right? But are there foreclosures? Right? And that's actually the question: is are there foreclosures? Well, we consider that if there's 200 or less, that is almost no inventory. So in Southern California, we have less right now active, 185 active foreclosures. It's virtually nothing. Nothing compared to the thousands that were 10 years ago when the market crashed. So we're not really seeing the foreclosure market. I know that there's a lot of forbearance talk out there in the media, but it just isn't translating. We're not seeing anything in the future that's any indicator in the future that we're seeing a crash in the market, that people are going to have to sell, or let their homes foreclose. We're just not seeing it. So,
yeah, so let's see if this.
All right, Ryan, let's hit the next slide.
I'll switch.
I'll go ahead and. All right, so let's get into actually what we're discussing tonight is the 5 things that we needed to address when we close our escrow, right? More importantly, what are the things that I need to do to have success after I buy a home? The number one thing is I need to change the utilities. And what's important about changing the utilities up front is that you do not want the seller to cancel and then it goes dark. And then you call up your company, your gas company, your electrical company, utility company, and they turn around and they say, oh, well, it's been off, so now we're going to charge you a restart fee. And then they want to check your credit. They might want to get a deposit on you. If you keep it active, if the seller is closing or shutting down their account one day, you want to already have called in and had that account prepared and ready. And so on that handoff,
you have zero, for most cases, you have no extra expenses or extraordinary expenses when you're talking to a utility company. So it's kind of important to actually know that and have it set up. So as you're closing a property, it's very important to have your utilities done. Let's see. Next one here. Oops. Other way. Home warranty. Guys, it's very important to understand your home warranty. Almost every single agent out there has written in a buyer's agent has written in the contract, you get a home warranty, and you want the seller to pay for it. Very important. If the seller doesn't pay for it, I usually, as real estate agents, Ryan, we usually pay for our own clients because we want to make sure that the utilities, I say the appliances in the house are actually covered. You don't want to walk into a house and immediately have a dead dishwasher when you've stacked it up.
Yep, we just had a client. That conditioner. Yeah, hopefully, let me. Got next after home.
All right, so let's divulge on home warranty. So Ryan, talk about, does it cover roof? Does it cover foundation? How much does it cover, and then what doesn't it cover?
Yeah, every home definitely. So. Very so it's big, right? So they're
Yeah.
not gonna
Right.
So they that crack they're caused by those all
Yeah.
they
Okay.
so bizarre.
All right, so I'll do a couple more segments here, Ryan, then we'll just jump in and you can finish it out. So the one thing about the home warranty is real important that they do not cover is anything that's on the home inspection, right? So if you have a home inspection, the home warranty company is going to want to see it. So everyone out there that says, oh, wow, all these fixes, and your agent's saying, well, just do it afterwards, the home warranty will cover it. They do not cover it. They're going to want a copy of that home inspection report. And those are considered pre-existing or existing prior to you closing. They're not going to cover those things. Even if it says it in their policy, there's that little disclaimer in there that says, no, they're not going to cover it. Let's go here. The next thing that's important is knowing your loan. And this is actually very, very important. You know, most everyone, you know, you get a lender, you talk to the lender for a while, you figure out what loan programs you have before you look for a home. In escrow, same thing. Right? You want to know what kind of loan you have. When you close your property, right, it then goes into effect. But how do you get rid of certain little guidelines or details of that? You want to get rid of mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance is going to be an albatross around your neck. Nobody wants to pay for additional insurances. So it's very, very important to know that. Now, there's a few things about it, and I'll just jet on here past it.
Yeah, so I'm going to try this again. So our power went out tonight, or actually it was earlier today. So all of the settings on all the computers, cameras, everything has been a complete nightmare. So we came on late and we didn't get to put in a lot of the slides we were hoping to because we've been sitting there fixing bugs as we go. So hopefully you can hear me now.
Yeah. So please get back with Ryan if you can hear him. You know, that's really important. We want to make sure that everyone hears all the important information that we are relaying tonight. So going back to eliminating your mortgage insurance, right? Well, typically on the majority of, can they hear you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So Ryan, talk about the LTV loan to value 20% here.
Oh man, now I'm just kidding. So obviously, if you've got a loan and you've put less than 20% down on that mortgage, there's a high likelihood that you're going to have PMI or MI. So if it's an FHA loan, you're going to have mortgage insurance, which is part of HUD's FHA program. And if it's a conventional loan, you're going to have private mortgage insurance. That being said, there are some programs that are 3% down or even 100% financing options that don't have any mortgage insurance. It's very rare. It's normally community, reinvestment act type stuff, grant money, or special employee benefit programs. But if you're putting less than 20% down, there's a high likelihood you're going to have PMI of some sort of mortgage insurance. That is a big payment. You want to be able to refinance that off. So if you're in a newer FHA loan, you're going to have to refinance to get it off. If you're and that's why we got FHA up on there. So you're going to have to refinance to get that mortgage insurance off. And there's a good chance you might be able to then go into a conventional loan, get a good rate, and not need to be in that FHA loan. So absolutely make sure after the close you pay attention to your home's value. So get with your agent. I know we're working on, having something called HomeBot where you can get, basically monthly emails. It lets you know what's going on in your neighborhood, pricing, things like that. So you can monitor your home's value. And when you're ready to pull that PMI off, you can then go and refinance. So stay with your agent, get with your mortgage broker and check in with them and know where your value is of your home. And if you're conventional, you need to talk to the servicer and see when it hits that 80% LTV, what their regulations are. Sometimes you have to get either a broker's price opinion, which is just an agent giving you a CMA, essentially, or you might have to pay for a full-blown appraisal and get that over to the servicer once you prove that you've got that 20% loan to value ratio, or really 80% loan to value, but 20% equity, then you can get out of that mortgage insurance. So a lot of people, it's just easier to just do a straight refi because rates are low right now. So they get the benefit of not having PMI and the lower rate. So if you guys are in a conventional loan that's more than a year old, there's a good chance, if you were 5% down, you might already be at that 20% LTV. I've had clients that have done it in less than a year, and that's within the last 2 years. So definitely check with your agent, check with your value, and get rid of that PMI, save yourself some money, and hopefully get a lower rate as well. So
now, you actually have a couple good points here, Ryan. One is that we hit all-time low rates about a week ago. At the beginning of July, all-time low rates. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac came out and said this is the lowest they've ever given out, ever. So that's a big plus. Number two, and more importantly, nobody is going to tell you if you have 80% LTV or less. No one's going to tell you. You've got to do your own due diligence. I don't care if you paid for 30 years and mortgage insurance was on it, it would just stay on there. No one's going to take it off. You're not going to hear about it unless you call up and to refi, you call up a loan officer and you refi it, and all of a sudden it happened to come in as an appraisal that it's less. It's so important. Every single one of you out there, be in tune with what your house is worth and what you owe on your house. Typically on your mortgage statement, it'll tell you what, as you pay it down, a percentage of that payment's going towards principal. Know your principal balance and then turn around and know exactly, what the value of the market is for your home. And you have to understand that when appraisals, we discussed this last week, appraisers and appraisals look at like and same type of properties. If you've extraordinarily put nicer things in your home, they will not give you that value out of it for more or less. They won't give the value. They're just going to compare it to a same square footage type of home with the same kind of lot in the same area. So get with a real estate agent, figure that out. It's real important. If you want to, you can actually comment or message us and we can go over what the value of your property is. And then, with our mortgage partner, what's a mortgage, we can go over and see, put a game plan together and see, hey, maybe I need to refi now, or it might be we're just a few months off. from refining as well as having my PMI fall off.
Yeah, let me do a couple shout outs here, a couple questions. So Carlos was asking, what's a good interest rate right now for conventional? Should I lock it in? Obviously, it's going to be depending on what your credit is, what's good. Everything's relative when it comes to rates. So we can definitely get the What's a Mortgage squad to contact you, Carlos, and let you know what going rates are right now. I know I've had quite a few clients be in the twos. So we are in the twos territory, the terrible twos.
That's a terrific twos.
Yeah, right?
Really, it's a terrific twos right now.
Yeah, I like that. And then Goritza says, do utilities have to be active on a vacant home? ? For example, a fix and flip home. So I'm going to say yes, and this is why. When you are doing your inspections as a buyer, those utilities need to be on. So when we're doing a flip, we always make sure that we've got the utilities on. Obviously we want them on while we're doing the project, and then we keep them on to make sure we sail through all the inspections. Obviously then we'll turn off gas and things like that if we got to do a termite tent or something like that at the end. But you do want to keep all utilities on for inspections. Now I know some, foreclosed homes and stuff like that, they'll winterize them because they're worried about pipes bursting and leaks and things like that. So in that case, it's normally the buyer's responsibility to pay for that home to be de-winterized and then re-winterized after their inspection. So most of those bank-owned, homes, so those servicers we've worked with and outsourcers, and those clients will require the buyer to pay for that as well. So, I gotta say, thank you guys for joining with all the comments today, even though it was just letting us know if our mics were on or off. So I'm like, you guys have to have some good questions out there. So definitely jump in if you got any. Do you have any over there now, Troy, on my phone?
No, actually, the next thing we want to talk about is estate planning and figuring out with a lawyer what you want to do with your home if something would happen to you.
Yep. So you guys, for most people, this home is going to be your biggest asset. And I mean, I'm going now that I know it's Thursday. So in 2 days, we're going to a bankruptcy court. And it's very similar to going to a probate court where if you don't have a will, or really it needs to be a living trust. So if you don't have a living trust, that property is going to have to go through probate. Even if you have a will, it's going to need to go through probate. So, and if you don't have a will, then it's even worse as it's going through probate because they really have to decide where things are going. You want to make sure you've got a living trust because you don't want your heirs to have to deal with the nightmare of losing you, and then on top of it, have to go through all the BS and bureaucracy to fight with the state and go through all of the legal paperwork. The amount of money that they're going to spend in attorney's fees to get the property through the probate process, to get it sold, and even if they want to keep it, going through that whole process, it's timely, it's expensive, and it's draining, completely draining. You want to make sure you've got a trust. You want to make sure you're looking at it regularly. If you've got a family, you really need to have it spelled out who's taking care of the kids, those types of things. Get that trust. The second you are a homeowner, you need to have a living trust. You need it spelled out who the property is going to, especially, if you're taking a property as, let's say, tenants in common with somebody, you need to have that in your trust. You need to have it spelled out where it's going, to just avoid a lot of nightmare for whoever the other owner is of that property. And again, for your heirs. So make sure, just do me a favor, make sure you talk to an attorney. There's a lot of them out there that can do a boilerplate, simple one. If you're worried about money, there's some cost effective stuff out there. I mean, you can even go to legal aid in a lot of these counties, get it done. It's very, very important.
Right. And
So.
I mean, and let's just go one step further. If the state has to step in, this is how you break up families. When you start infighting and arguing over who gets what and what gets who, that's what breaks it up. If you put the will or living trust together, then it spells it out right to the point, who gets what, and that's really important. And I know, the majority of people that have been buying homes in the last 6 to 9 months as millennials. And so I know it's not on the radar, but it absolutely is something that you want to make sure that you actually look into and begin that process. Right now, we have COVID out there. We have a lot going on. The world has a lot of uncertainty, and you want to make sure that your family is taken care of if something were to happen to you, unfortunately.
Yep.
We also talk about life insurance here, Ryan.
Yep. So, and that's the other thing. So this is a good opportunity and good time to have life insurance. Really sit down. You want to sit down with a financial professional who can help you walk through what, your mortgage is going to look like, what, and what safety nets you should have. And one of those really is life insurance, because especially if you're the main, breadwinner and your family's got this house now, if something happens to you, you really need to have something that's going to cover you. And really you need to have some sort of disability, because there's a lot of things that can happen between life and death that are going to be taxing on you, the family, and potentially, hinder your ability to bring home money to make that payment. So you guys really need to sit down and think about the big picture financially now that you have these obligations. And so Chris Solano's asking, if I got pre-approved at one rate in June, will I be able to get a lower rate when it's time to submit an offer right now? Or are you stuck with the first? No, as long as you aren't in contract with a locked rate, you can get whatever the prevailing rate is. So if you had a pre-approval in June, the rates have gone lower. So, you should be able to, as long as your scenario hasn't changed, you should most likely be able to get a lower rate. So definitely talk to your mortgage professional on that one. Obviously, I'm the lender and I don't know your situation, but definitely reach out to them and see. And good luck out there home shopping in the trenches, fighting the war. And if you got questions, definitely reach out to us. Living trust not submitted, so still private. Yes. So when you have a living trust, it's still private. So, like my living trust, my dad's got a copy. I got a copy in the safe and my attorney's got a copy. So if something happens to me, people know what my wishes are, and it's in writing and it's legal, but it's not out there, publicly recorded for everybody. So, Jay Libra says, what up, house heroes? What's up, Jay? Good seeing you on here, bud. And then Jacqueline, what's the average cost of a living trust? I know I spent about $1,200 on mine. RJ says $800. Absolutely. I see the ads in the newspapers all the time for, the early bird special at,
Norms.
at Norms, along with the living trust for $800. So, and then Chris Solano says thanks. So, all right. So, changing your lock, security. Absolutely. You don't know how many crazy relatives, ex-girlfriends, whatever, that the seller had. So you definitely want to be changing your locks and just taking an overall, look at the security. So there's a lot of stuff out there now, Ring doorbells, Ring cameras that are on Wi-Fi, very easy to install. They've got batteries, you can, wire them in. So definitely look at your locks and securities. I know on a lot of Troys and my flips, just having the dummy cameras that just have a blinking red light from home or Harbor Freight. We go to Harbor Freight, I'd go buy 10 of them. I'd stick them around the property, and all of a sudden we'd have less loitering, less trash, and less break-ins. So, between having just fake cameras, and then when we went to Simply Safe alarms, that was key too, because they were all cellular based. We didn't need to have the internet hooked up there. So as long as we had power on, we could plug in a Simply Safe alarm, a keypad, and the siren, and we could check on our phones. We would get text alerts. We would have it fully monitored, and the police would go out, and that stopped a lot of the issues we were having on our properties when Simply Safe, hit the scene a number of years ago, and we could just take it from one property to the next. So that was great when we were flipping, and even on our rentals, being able to move it from one to the other instead of having to have each rental have a hard line alarm system. So
there's ADT out there you can look at, but I mean more importantly, when you initially buy a home, and the first thing you want to do is when you get that set of keys from your real estate agent and you pop that champagne corks and you're excited, is that you might have a guy right behind you that rekeys homes, right? You might have that, or they're gonna go and rekey every single lock to one single key code, which is on your key. And so you'll and then of course give that out to all your family that have a copy of it. But you want to make sure that you're locking out anybody that from the seller side that might have had a key, that you're just locking them all out.
And there's a saying: the sign of a successful person is the number of keys they have. The less amount of keys, the more successful you are. And man, my biggest pet peeve is when I go to show a home and there's 8 keys
Right.
in the lockbox, and you've got a security door and the deadbolt's 1 key, the knob below it's another key, and then you've got, you know, another 2 inside door, or maybe even a third one higher. Drives me crazy. Just rekey them all the same. You know, it's, you know, if somebody really wants to break into your home, they're going to kick in the door, they're going to bash in a window. There's easy ways to get into your house. 5 door locks that are all keyed separate is not going to slow them down one bit. Let's be honest. So,
And it puts you at risk because you have to pull out 4 different keys.
yeah, heaven
get into the
forbid.
house.
Yeah. So true. So true.
You know?
But it's a pet peeve when you got like 8 keys. Come on. So, pay for and the thing is normally you can take those locks. I know some home warranties will have free lock changing services or a credit towards it. It's still pretty expensive. I normally recommend just taking the 2 screws off on an average door lock, taking the whole lock down to your locksmith because it's cheaper if you walk it in and have them rekey it all right then and there. And it's definitely cheaper if you have the keys for it. Or, you know, time to upgrade the hardware, you know, and locks on your doors. So, yeah, and then he's saying Waze on mobile hotspot. So that's a good one too. So.
We go. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us today. You know, I hope the topic there was after you close 5 things that are very important. They actually go way beyond just the close of escrow. They go way beyond that. They actually are important through your entire life. You know, the planning and the wills and the trust and everything like that. So, and the security, making sure your home is secure. You know, when you leave, as a, you know, you're taking care of your family and they're protected. So, Ryan, what do we got coming up here on Friday?
So Friday we're gonna have a deal of the week, and I guarantee you it'll be sold by the time you see it on Friday because we might be recording this one on Thursday.
It won't be live.
So hey, you know what? Check in and see on Friday when we post it if it's still active for sale, because we're gonna be recording it Thursday, and then obviously Thursday. 8 p.m. Roxy's coming at you in Spanish on Los Heroes de la Casa. Friday, 8 p.m., we're going to be dropping our weekly market update. So definitely check those out. And one last comment. Jeg says, I still believe a dog is your best bet for security. Couldn't agree more. And then Jacqueline says, thanks for the information. Sorry, guys, for the bad technical. Like we said, we're planning on getting some more staff in here to really step it up for us. And that power going off real good this morning really set everything back. So anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Peace. God bless.